Hey everyone, it's Enchanted, and I wanted to talk about this whole Brooke Schofield situation. So, if you guys don't know already, because I know lots of people on social media are like, who is this? Who is this? Why do we care? Brooke Schofield is a popular social media influencer who is mostly known for her podcast show with Tana Montague, Cancelled. I'd say between the two of them, Tana and Brooke, Brooke is always seen as, the more, reasonable and politically correct one. So Tana, she's been canceled plenty of times in the past for, saying some insensitive things. It's a lot of racist stuff as well. But Brooke, she tends to stay out of the drama. She's really calculated in what she says. I know she had that recent issue with Clinton Kane, and then in the past, I think her and Tana had some beef. But pretty much, Brooke knows how to kind of play the field. But recently, people dug up tweets from Brooke where Brooke was being extremely insensitive, extremely racist, and she really sounded like an extreme right-wing bigot, if we're going to be, completely honest. And I mean, the tweets that she tweeted about Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman, they were disgusting. Like every other white influencer that has their racist past brought up, she went into crisis mode with her PR team. She came up with the answer I think everyone pretty much expected of her, basically stating that she grew up with racist family members, blah, blah, blah. She was really young, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't, feel the same way, blah, blah, blah. Now, I do think these are valid points, which I will get into later. Many people feel like this is just a half-baked apology, which I understand as well. So, many voiced that Brooke was between the ages of 15 to like 20 years old, and she should have known better. And they also brought up the fact that she has very close ties with Tana, whom is racist and has had a racist. I wouldn't say she's still racist, but she has a racist past. Let's just say that. Um, and I just wanted to give my opinion. So, this is coming from somebody, I'm a black man. I went to an all white middle school. So I was like maybe one of five black kids in my grade of over like 200 white people. And believe me when I say this, like white people in these environments are extremely racist. Like I'm not even someone that likes to use that word, lightly. So I guess you can maybe say prejudice or ignorant, I guess. But there are a lot of racist kids and even more racist parents there. So first off, I feel like the whole, I'm too young to know better thing can go one of two ways. So the first is that, there is an excuse because you wouldn't say or do these things that you tweet in front of certain company. You know what I mean? What I mean by this is like racist white kids would never say something racist to people of authority or they wouldn't like let's just say they know who to say certain things around, and just that in itself just proves that like lots of these kids know what they're doing. They know what they're doing is wrong when they have to watch who they say it in front of, or they know it's the right time and place where they wouldn't get in trouble for it. Like they know it's wrong. So lots of times when people say, oh, they're too young to know, that they know it's wrong. They might not know the gravity of the situation. They know what they're doing is wrong, and they know, I hate that sometimes we treat kids like they're babies when kids do stuff intentionally to, hurt other people. And I understand that, they should be held accountable for it. On the other hand, as a psychology and sociology major, I understand that people really are a product of their environment, especially when we're exposed to certain things early on. They can be very hard to unlearn because, it can almost feel natural. So from my understanding, Brooke's parents were like crackheads or they were drug addicts, and she was raised by her grandparents. Older white people, stereotypically tend to lean more conservative, and this is basically what she said shaped her and caused her to have a certain viewpoint when she was younger. I do think we do need to allow people to evolve and change, and I'm not trying to excuse her past behavior, but personally, I do think people can change. When you think about it, for like 95% of us, our parents have a huge influence over our lives. So most of us share our parents' religion, political, politics, economic status, things like that. When white people come from an entirely white like hometown, they tend to be extremely closed-minded. This is why we say that when, white people tend to be conservative until they go to college. In college, they can experience people and circumstances that they would never have been exposed to in their hometown. They may have, a roommate that's gay or have to do a project with a black girl, a Latina girl. And, they might have a different mindset once they get to actually meet somebody and are involved in someone else's lives. And they're like, oh, you don't act like what I would have thought. I did see some other tweets where she was kind of hinting at having similar views as she did in high school when she was saying like how she had to, fake some liberal views to get better grades and things like that. And she's also done some stuff as of late where it kind of negates what she said, where she's, liked Trump picks and, um, kind of still teetering the line. So I do think she's still conservative at heart because I think she just liked a recent pick with Donald Trump and Adin Ross, which is recent. And so everybody can be conservative. Like I have nothing against conservative people. I don't think all conservative people are racist. Um, but I want to say, again, there's nothing wrong with being conservative, but when it gets to having backwards views on systems and, societal aspects that can negatively harm someone else, I do think that you're a bad person. I'm sorry. Um, she has come out and, again, said she's not racist. I mean, that's obvious answer that she would say. Um, but her actions even up to recently are not aligning with what she's saying. Lots of people see Trump, especially trying to give immunity to police officers, and you're still supporting that after you see what police officers have been doing to lots of black people. I mean, that's very unsettling. Kind of, you're anybody that's still kind of a Trump supporter at this point in time, like, after that, you're gonna get a side eye. Like I could see 2016 maybe, and then go through the 2020s and you're like, oh, okay, I changed my mind. But, it looks like she's still actively kind of supporting that. And just, trying to apply this back to me for, white people in my middle school that were extremely racist. And, I had big ears, so you know what they used to call me. Okay. I do think that many of the kids that I deemed racist in the past probably have matured and become better people. I know that a lot are still closeted bigots, okay? They might still think that way, but they're not, they're a little bit more mature to know that they can't really act that out or there's going to be some repercussions if they say it openly. I definitely don't want to make up with any of these friends that were, treating me racist or, that were racist to me in the past, but I wouldn't expect them to be the same person that they were 10 years ago. As a whole, white people back then, they tended to be a lot less self-conscious and self-aware about what they said. I feel like it was like not up until like maybe up until like 2016 when white kids were, you know, they were like extremely edgy and lots of white kids, especially like in the gamer community, if like they think like that edgy and like dark humor, they think it's hilarious. For me in general, I think it's a little ridiculous to kind of hold past actions to the same standards as today, if that makes sense. This may be a little bit off topic from Brooke's post, like I'm not talking about that anymore, but back then, I don't think it's fair to look at situations with like a modern lens. So for Brooke, I do believe she could have changed for the better. I know she moved to LA, and LA tends to be a liberal city, so maybe that could have influenced her. I see a lot of people, aka white women, accepting Brooke's apology. However, I do know like it. I even listened to the Cancel podcast. For me, I'm a black man, and I kind of when these tweets dug right back up, I'm like, dang, I didn't even know Tana was doing it. Like I knew she had said some stuff in the past. I didn't know she was saying all that. So, it really sucks when you're like a black person and, you look up to these people and you find out that they have some racist past. Like it almost seems like it's just like a anomaly to find somebody, a white person or creator that's not racist or has never said or done anything racist. Do I think that Brooke is over? Of course not. Her white fans will forgive her, and that's who the apology I feel like was really for. Her fan base is made up of 95% white women, I would say. And I bet the apology was just more so that those fans would feel less guilty about continuing their support for her. My thing is just, if you're a social media influencer and you know that you've tweeted some controversial stuff in the past, why wouldn't you immediately start deleting, your past tweets when you start getting some buzz? You know what I mean? Or why not delete Twitter as a whole? It just doesn't make sense. How have we, seen creator after creator, artist after artist continue to have their career ruined and derailed over past tweets? And like I said in, an earlier video, as soon as you start popping, Brooke has been on the rise with that Cancel podcast. She's been getting sponsorships, deals and stuff. People are going to be gunning for you. They're going to look for any reason to, take you down. So I just feel like she's low key kind of dumb for that. Like, why not you know that you had these tweets in the past. Why not just do a whole refresh or just get a whole new Twitter as a whole? I mean, like, you know that that's what you used to tweet. I don't know why you would leave. Maybe, I don't know. But I do think that, her podcast with Tana, I do like her podcast with Tana, but these tweets were really disappointing, especially like me. I'm not familiar with Brooke's background. So, like, I always thought she was, more reasonable and like pretty politically correct to the extent where I would have never expected this from her. Um, I, I, I want to say that she's not racist anymore, but she's done some stuff even up into her 20s, which, is where she's kind of said some backwards stuff basically. So I don't really know if she's changed, but I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. Do you think that she's changed? Like, if you did support her in the past, what are your thoughts now? Do you think you're still going to support her? I want to know from, black people and white people. Like, if you're black, like, how do you feel? How do you go about supporting people that you know have been racist in the past? And I think like this situation is very different because, in the with lots of white creators, maybe they've had a racist past, but they've done nothing but, maybe good up until that point or good, since then. But with Brooke, it's a little bit dirtier where she said some crazy stuff in the past. And, you know, now it's just, she's still saying some of those stuff and liking tweets and kind of doubling down on some of her past mindsets, even though she's not openly saying that, as a social media influencer, especially in her sphere, it pays a lot more to be liberal. And as we see, who her and Tana still associate, Bryce Hall, like if you see Bryce Hall right now, he's another TikToker. He is going full on conservative, full on Trumpy. So, like, we see who you're still associating with. We don't really even see you with any black people. I don't follow her enough to really, I guess, comment on that. But like, you could go down her feed. She doesn't really interact with a lot of black people either. So it's like, I know maybe her friend group just might not consist of any, but it's telling kind of when you talk a lot of crap about black people. Some of these tweets are pretty deep. You talk a lot of crap about black people and you don't have any black friends. You really don't show any support. You're still liking Donald Trump's post, after Donald Trump had said that he would give immunity to police officers that kill black people. Like, and then you're going to go around and say that, oh, I'm not racist. Like, but your actions are still showing it even up until recent. So I don't really know how to judge this. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think that, you can forgive her? I don't think this is going to derail her career. It's going to derail her career, but I don't think it's going to end it. If Tana can survive what she was saying and doing, Tana's done some crazy stuff too. I'm actually really disappointed in both of them. Really, I didn't know how deep it was, especially with Tana. I'm looking at some of Tana's tweets that have resurfaced now because of her association with Brooke, and I'm just sitting here like, oh my God. Like, even if you were young for some of this stuff, it's just like, that stuff wasn't okay. So it's just crazy. So I just want to know your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comments, like and subscribe. See you guys in the next video.